kilometres to go, and there's Van Rensburg already taken back by the peloton. And he says the Tinkoff rider who's got to the front to try and lead Jay McCarthy. Current heart rate of Nathan Earl, 159 beats a minute. You see that just elevating all the time, jumping again to 162. Here it is, the final 3.5 kilometres. This is where they start to go off the front and out the back.
Now, who will be the first rider to launch an attack here? It is Burrow on the front here. Peter Kenyon coming through. Everybody trying to see the way through now because they've got to hit early if they're going to hit Simon Gerrans.
Well, obviously, Team Sky have said they want to make this as tough as possible. Holding off in about 7th or 8th position, a little bit further back was Geraint Thomas. He will wait to really wind it up for his man Sergio Henao later on at the back. Lots of damage being done for many of these riders, throwing out the sandbags, hoping that the hot air balloon will rise to the top. As we look down, there is number 11 looking after his teammates and looking for the back wheel. It's almost as if he's flying blind at a moment like this. He's right there on the wheel of his teammate, and I suppose very much his mate nowadays, Daryl Impey. They swapped the yellow jersey at the Tour de France a couple of years ago, and people said to me, well, why did Simon Gerrans give up the yellow jersey? Why did they swap it amongst teammates? Well, because it's payback time sometimes, and today I think Daryl Impey is saying a very big thank you to Simon Gerrans for that occasion, and now they're lining it up.
Luke Rowe is the man setting the pace for Sky, followed behind by his teammate and British champion Peter Kenyuk. Then you've got Alexei Chechevich of Team Katusha, who he appears to have gone right now, and so too has Kenyuk. Kenyuk's put in a big move here.
Well, look at this, Phil. Kenyuk has gone. His teammate had to swing out and leave a gap. Geraint Thomas on the wheel just looked back to see where Henao might be. When he looks back, he sees Albacini, he sees Daryl Impey, sees Simon Gerrans. It's all Orica, all at the front of the bunch. Further down, just on the left, I spot Richie Porte, but it's Kenyuk really winding up the pace and trying to make it so hard because that's what they need for their Colombian climber, Sergio Henao. But the question is, where is he? He hasn't been able to follow his teammates through. He's got a bit of ground to make up. We look down and see Rowan Dennis and Richie Porte right next to each other, getting into that line. And there is Henao behind Richie Porte in the black polka dot mountain climber jersey.
Well, the way they're lining up, Sky are setting the pace. Orica is just saying, thanks a lot, guys. Keep doing your best. I'm sat here because that's the case with Simon Gerrans, with the team around him at the moment. And it does look as though Henao hasn't liked the fast start to this climb. Fantastic riding here by the man they call G, Geraint Thomas, the rider who had a brilliant Tour de France this year, and Daryl Impey always looking after Simon Gerrans now.
Oh, Phil, look at that single file line. It is so painful.
It's
Thomas
incredible.
On the front, Albacini, Impey, Gerrans, Jay McCarthy, Simon Clark and Michael Woods. Behind him, Rowan Dennis, Richie Porte, Sergio Henao, and all single file. Pozzovivo just on the right side, just going in and out of picture, trying to move up with the pace on. Look at the faces. Look at Daryl Impey, the suffering that he's doing. Michael Woods out of the seat, the second bright green Cannondale rider, looking quite comfortable. He wanted it as hard as possible.
But we're looking at no standout rider on the climb up to the finishing line. They're all together holding the back wheels. Geraint Thomas has now had his day. He's gone. But normally on this climb, we always get a standout rider who says goodbye. Maybe it's coming now.
Well, here goes one of the Cannondale riders, but that's Simon Clark. He's trying to make it hard, put out an attack, trying to put Orica Green Edge under pressure. He came from that team. Don't you? Well, Rowan Dennis, he is the man that looks like he's got a bigger attack in the legs, and he is throwing it out there.
He's inviting them to come. Michael Woods is getting in the mix as well now because Michael is number 53 down there. He's trying to get onto the act. Rowan Dennis has made his move, but it looks as though things aren't so good now. Now it's being left again to Clarkey.
Well, Clarkey on the front, but Daryl Impey, look at the tempo he's setting. Simon Gerrans just so relaxed in that wheel. Simon Gerrans is in an absolutely controlling position. Orica and Rowan Dennis going out the back. There goes last year's winner.
He had such a wonderful day out here. He was only hit by Richie Porte, and he kept his overall lead that was converted to a win in Adelaide, has cracked on the climb. And they're still looking after him. And what about Jay McCarthy at the back there too, ready to go? Well, this is Lucas Hamilton. I'm not sure whether the cameras
spoke about
picked
him
up.
Just before. Well, we'll see where he's off the
jumped
front.
away. He's off the front. He's the man that's been tipped. You were right, Robbie.
Right again. Dave Sanders said this boy is super. We saw him yesterday so good over Kirby Hill, and he is completely not intimidated by the World Tour.
What a result it would be for UniSA.
Oh, wait, for a young guy, 19 years old, not even been overseas yet, Phil, except with the juniors, and he is taking on the World Tour and riding away from them.
Well, his birthday is on the 12th of February, and that's not far away, but right now this man is showing them the real style. 1.4 kilometers to go, and don't forget, UniSA celebrating their 25th anniversary today. What a result it would be.
Oh, what a fantastic effort. I just saw one of the Lotto Jumbo riders jumping out of the peloton. I thought George Bennett trying to come across. Daryl Impey still setting the pace on the front of the bunch with Simon Gerrans in his wheel. Jay McCarthy tucked on Gerrans. Rowan Dennis looked like he was being dropped, and Richie Porte, he is behind Jay McCarthy. He knows this climb better than anybody, and I think now that BMC have got to try and salvage this with a stage win as Bennett catches Hamilton, and there's another UniSA coming across.
Well, I don't know which one it could possibly be, but there's now been an incredible acceleration from Richie Porte as he puts in the move here. He did this last year. Don't forget, he's been unbeaten for the past 2 years on this climb. Now he's making his move. Woods is after him, and so too is Sergio Henao.
Well, 1K to go. This is where Richie went last year and rode Rowan Dennis out of the wheel. This time it's Michael Woods, the Canadian, trying to come across, close the gap, and now in his wheel, 1 kilometre to go.
1 kilometre to go. Henao has moved out the slipstream of Woods, who I think has cracked as he races after Richie Porte. This is an inspired ride by a man who is unbeaten on this climb for 2 years, and again he's kicked, but I think he might have misjudged this because Henao has reached his back wheel. The man who leads in the Subaru King of the Mountains, and with this win would win that title before tomorrow, has locked into the back wheel of Richie Porte. He's waiting. Porte has no choice but to keep going. This has now become a 2-horse race to the line. Remember, a 10-second time bonus as well as a time gap, and Henao could be right up there in the top 2 or 3 riders. You know, Gerrans has got to come into our view pretty quick, otherwise he will lose his lead in this race. Well, Henao is just sitting there waiting as we look back here. Now it's Gerrans at the head of the peloton. He's fighting to save his ochre. Woods is in 3rd place, he sits. Now the gap. Richie's gone again. Has he got Sergio Henao? Because I think he might have, and he's realised it. He's prized open a gap off the Colombian climber. He's taken the short way. How long is a kilometre on the old Willunga hill? He's pulled it off. He's going to get his 3rd win in as many years on top of the old Willunga hill. Richie Porte grits his teeth. He says, no, this is my climb, it's my day, and I'm going to take it. As he comes up now, just a little flick around the corner, 150. What a display that was by Richie Porte. A new team, but the same result. First to the top of the old Willunga hill. Roll on the Tour de France for this man. Well done, Richie Porte. And Henao will still confirm himself as the man in the King of the Mountains jersey tonight. Woods has gone across the line. He's confirmed too as a top World Tour man. As they continue now to sprint home, the seconds are counting, but not enough. As they come over the line, Ulissi will have gone over there. Valls, Fernandez,